What's good, New York? It's your boy, the Face Man. And you know that's right. The happy Monday afternoon on this holiday week, Thanksgiving week coming up. So lots of turkey and fiesta and all that good stuff coming up. We're here live from Bravo Bravery Studios in Clifton, New Jersey.
Bravery up!
Bravery up. This is brought to you by JLM Sports, and this is Game Face. And let's just get right into it. So a lot has happened since last week. Last show, we talked about the Myles Garret situation as far as the hitting quarterback Mason Rudolph, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in the head with his own helmet, by the way. Snatched his helmet off and hit him in the head. Now, since then, there's been allegations by Myles Garret that Mason Rudolph used a racial slur, and the racial slur was the N-word. So quite naturally, it's caused a big storm as far as the incident. Once again, he's received a lot of backlash, negative press, Myles Garret. Basically, why would you wait this long to put that out? That if he did use the N-word, why didn't you put that out at the end of the game? Why didn't he say anything during the press conference? So my thing is this, and the number is, first of all, the number is 862-621-9536. Just call in. My thing is this. From what I know, from what I heard, this was leaked by the NFL. This was not put out by Myles Garret. Myles Garret did not officially put out that Mason Rudolph used a racial slur toward me, okay? This was somehow leaked out. ESPN found this out from the NFL. During Myles Garrett's interrogation interview, whatever you want to call it, right? It was said that Myles Garret said he called me the N-word during the altercation. So my thing is this. It's quite evident that Myles Garret did not want that leaked out. It was supposed to be in confidence. Everything that was said in that room that was confessed was supposed to be in confidence. It was not supposed to be leaked out. That's why he didn't say it to the media. That's why after the game, after the incident happened, during the game, you saw Myles Garret. He said all the right things. Said, I lost my temper. I was wrong for what I did. I'm not usually that type of guy. Tempers flared. And, I made a mistake. Now he goes to I guess they come here to New York. And while he's being interviewed or he's pleading his case, he says that Mason Rudolph used a racial slur. But once again, it was supposed to be kept in confidence. He didn't want that leaked out. So somebody from the NFL office, leaked that to ESPN. And of course, ESPN, it was breaking news. Because everything is breaking news, right? Everything is just, So basically, now he's getting a lot of backlash because, he must be lying or using the race card. He has to be, because why would you wait this long to put that out? Problem is, he didn't put that out. Myles Garret didn't put that out. The NFL leaked it. They leaked it to the press. They leaked it to ESPN. So now he's getting all this, bad press. Every sports talk show, every radio show is now, oh, well, you know what? He's using the race card. I don't believe it because he waited too long. You got African American, analysts, like Shannon Sharp, who I love, by the way. Shannon Sharp is, good from Undisputed with Skip. But, basically saying, if he would have used that word on me, I would have took it to him right there. I would have said it during the press conference because we know how powerful that word is. We know it. So, but here's my thing. And we've learned a lot about Myles Garret the past week and a half or so since this incident happened. One thing is, he is not a brash guy. He may be, a 200, 300-pound football player, defensive end, rough and tough on the gridiron. But as a person, Myles Garret is a guy who into poetry, philosophy. He's just a different type of cat, just a different type of cat. So just maybe, and I'm not saying he isn't lying about it. I'm not saying he is. Let's make that straight right now. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying, he isn't lying. But just because I react one way to something, or Shannon Sharp reacts one way to something, doesn't mean you're going to react the same way. Do you understand what I'm saying, America? All my watchers and listeners, let's be fair. Yes, it's a nasty word. Yes, it's got a lot of, but just because I react to it one way doesn't mean you're going to react to it the same way. Okay? Doesn't mean that. So now let's pull up a tweet here because we have a tweet. Now, last year, Myles Garret tweeted out, and if we could bring it up on the screen, Myles Garret on his Twitter feed, Myles what? I'm tired of hearing the N-word or being referred to as one by anyone, no matter your race. Tired of the hard R or A argument. I'm surely tired of hearing people being offended by it when used by another ethnicity. If we don't want anyone using it, then we shouldn't. So basically what he's saying in a tweet is that he's tired of being referred to by the N-word. And it doesn't have to be by someone by another race. It doesn't have to be someone that's Caucasian. It could be his own people. It could be another African American. As you know, African Americans use that word. Not all of us, but a lot of African Americans do use the N-word as a greeting toward one another. I've used it. Okay? I used it. And the woman that raised me used it. That's just the way it is. I grew up in a black household. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. But I understand what Myles Garret is saying here. And he has a complete right to his opinion, And I do kind of agree with it. I do agree. Yet, it's a word that we shouldn't use as African Americans. We shouldn't be using it. Why do we use it? I don't know. It's just in us. It just means something else. We take the sting out of it. We've made it a complete different meaning, when we say it towards one another. It's almost enduring, as crazy as it sounds. And I know, people from other races, they're not going to understand that. They're not going to get it, because why would you use a slur, a word that caused so much pain in this country, for people, for our ancestors? Why would you use it? And once again, I don't know. All I know is in my culture as an African American man, as a child, it's been used a lot. And other races use it now. We use it so much in hip hop, in movies, that other races use it. I walk down the street, I go on the bus, Or, I walk around New York, I hear Indian kids. I swear, I'm not lying to you. I hear Indian kids and definitely Hispanic kids, Latino kids using the N-word, calling each other, using the N-word, because that's what we've done to it. Myles Garret has a point. He does have a point. But the main thing is, with that tweet, it just shows you he has a history of having an issue with the N-word. Now, does that mean that Mason Rudolph said it during the altercation on the field? It doesn't prove anything. Doesn't prove anything. Doesn't mean he's telling the truth. Doesn't mean he's lying. The NFL has put out that they found no evidence of Mason Rudolph using the word. And of course, Mason Rudolph and his representatives were very, very upset about it. And he claimed his innocence. But the only way you're really going to find out, because, let's be honest, the NFL, they interviewed his teammates, people around him, people who know him well, and they defended him. His own teammates said, "Oh no, that's not the guy. I know he never used it around me, or this and that." So according to the NFL, there's no evidence proving that he used the N-word toward Myles Garret. But once again, it does not mean that it didn't happen. And the only way you can really find out, the NFL, is do what they did with Antonio Brown. But the whole Antonio Brown rape and assault accusation, have Antonio Brown come in, have his accuser come in, tell her side, and have a professional interrogator or a mediator. Now, if the NFL really, really wants to know, then I would suggest they would do that. But to just say that there's no proof because we asked around, there's no witnesses to, I'm not sure if that's enough. I'm just not sure. But once again, as I said, it was leaked. It was leaked to ESPN about him using or accusing Mason Rudolph of using the N-word. And once again, that's on the NFL. That part I blame on the NFL. Because think about it. You're already dealing with this mess with Colin Kaepernick, which we talked about last week. Okay. You have this whole race thing. You got Jay-Z involved. Eric Reed, he's involved. Jim Brown even said something about it, made his feeling, this was like last year sometime. But why on earth would you leak this? Why would you want to open up another bottle? Why? That's the last thing you need if you're the NFL. I just don't understand it. That should have never been leaked to the press or to the ESPN. Never been leaked. Because now you open up another whole can of worms. He could have half his suspension, right? And then that would be the end of it. The Browns, they seem to be kind of moving on. They're winning now. They're playing better football. They're not better without him. That's for sure. But still, it's not like the organization has collapsed because of this incident. So if you're the NFL, what do you gain out of leaking this? Whoever did this from the NFL, what do you gain? You gain nothing because now you've got more negative press toward one of your Pro Bowl players. And that's the last thing you need. You're trying to promote the game. You're trying to market the game. You don't need that. Whether he's lying or whether he's telling the truth, you don't need that. Not with this Kaepernick stuff going on. So that's a terrible job by the NFL. It's just a terrible job, because like, what did you gain out of this? Now you got everybody, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and every, and it's not just the African American, analysts and, but I just think it was a bad decision. Whoever made that decision, you didn't gain anything by it. You got more headlines, but, I just, I don't know. They dropped the ball on this one. Bad job by the NFL. Bad job by the NFL. So, but moving on, because we only have an hour here. Let's get into some more positive stuff. We'll go local with the Jets, the G-men. And so Sam Darnold, who a few weeks ago, and I said it was the most silliest thing that I've ever heard or saw. The whole, I'm seeing ghost things, and because everything is a clutch the pearls moment. It was the same thing with the butt fumble with Mark Sanchez. But the Jets, hey, look, give them credit. I told you last week the Raiders were under the radar. I was going to pick this game. But for some reason, I have not seen enough of the Raiders. It's like I've seen every other team. I've seen the Browns. I've seen the Rams. I see the Titans. Hell, I turn on TV, I see the Broncos. I have not seen the Raiders. I've seen the Chargers, the 49ers, all those teams out there on the West Coast. Seattle. But for some reason, I don't know if it's just me, but I have not seen enough of the Raiders. And when I saw their record and I saw they were 6-4 and leading the division, I was like, wow. I mean, these guys are really under the radar. And because of that, I did not trust them in this Jets game because of that. Because I was going to pick. I was going to make a pick. And everybody had the Raiders winning, by the way. Everybody had the Raiders winning. Oh, they're going to win the division. They're going to go up there. The time difference is not going to mean anything. And, of course, the Jets, took them to the back of the woodshed. Took them to the back of the woodshed. From the kickoff, from the very kickoff, the Jets just spanked that ass. That's what they did. And, yeah, I said it. Because who knows when I ever get a chance to say that when it comes to the New York Jets. Let's be honest. So it does feel good. But the Jets owned them from kickoff. From the time that whistle blew. They didn't have a clue when it came to stopping that Jets offense. And gives Adam Gase credit. Give him credit. A few weeks ago, I was out here, calling for this guy's head. I wasn't the only one, making fun of his eyes, how weird he is and all that. But he's got the team to respond. And they were competitive. Starting from that Giant game a few weeks ago, they've won 3 in a row. They talked a lot of trash during that Giants game. Personally, for me, it didn't mean much. Because the Giants are, and I'm going to get into them in a few minutes. Don't worry. They're going to get their hits. Believe me, they're going to get their hits right after I talk about the Jets. And we're going to need some music for that. I'm going to need a DJ, the marvelous one, my producer. But that's after we're done with the Jets. We'll get into the Giants. Yeah, Armageddon. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. But hey, give the Jets credit. I mean, they, and give Sam Darnold credit. Give him credit. After the whole, fiasco with New England and, I've seen ghosts and people were making fun of him. He was the butt of every joke in the media along with his team. And from that game that they played against the Giants, when they were the home team, they actually hosted the Giants. over in the Meadowlands at MetLife. He is a complete different quarterback. And the word is, he went to Adam Gase. He went to his head coach and said, I want to do things like this. Can we do things my way, the way I want to do them? And Adam Gase said, well, you know what? It's about time. So kudos to Darnold. And he's finally looking like the quarterback and the leader that us Jets fans, what we hoped he would be. Because the potential is there. The arm is there. It's just he has to make better decisions. And that comes with time. It comes with time. You're going to make mistakes. He's just in his second year, having to deal with the mono and the illness. But coming back, this team had no wins. They were 0-6, and then I think like 1-7. And to come back and win 3 games in a row, to beat the Giants. Okay, the Giants stink. Fine. Beat Washington. Okay, Washington stinks. That's fine. But you still have to do it. You still have to do it. And I said last week, this is the test. This is a test. Let me see them go out there and beat the Raiders. And they trashed them. They trashed the Raiders. And I think the Raiders are still dropping passes right now. I think a Raider wide receiver just dropped another pass. Because, God, did they stink. No disrespect to the Jets. I mean, the Jets played great. Evidently, during warm-ups. And thank you, Raider Nation. Because we all know Raider Nation extends everywhere. Throughout the country. Throughout the United States. Through every arena. The black hole. But thank you, Raiders fans, for booing the Jets, having the guts, having the stones to be on the road and booing the home team when they come out for warm-ups. And Jamal Adams, who has proven that he is undoubtedly the leader of this team, led his team back into the locker room after these warm-ups and told them what he thought about it and what they should do. And what the bottom line was. The disrespect. And how that can't stand. And what we're going to do when we go back out there. So thank you. Thank you, Raider Nation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the Jets really, it's interesting. I'm not used to watching the Jets and the Giants play at the same time anymore, because traditionally, if the Giants are playing at 1, the Jets are playing at 4. If the Jets are playing at 1, the Giants are playing at 4, or vice versa. So, so I'm going back and forth. And the Jets just took control. I was actually missing Jets touchdowns, but luckily I was DVRing it. I DVR'd both games, and I was going back and forth. And I'm going to the red zone. NFL red zone. So I'm checking out other games, So, but the Jets, they did an outstanding job. And once again, I have to give the coach credit. He got them to believe. He got them to be competitive. Good play calling. They were doing wheel routes, screens, getting the ball in Le'Veon Bell's hands. And what a great catch by Bell during that first drive. Great catch, over-the-head catch. He did an excellent, excellent job. Guys were wide open. There were holes in that Raiders secondary. And the Jets were able to exploit them and pick them apart. Darnold was executing his throws. They were on target. And the Jets were catching the ball. Flea flickers, reverses, everything. The whole kitchen sink. Everything was just well-timed and well executed by the Jets. And the offensive line. Now that Beacham's back. And they got this kid Copeland, and hopefully we don't ever have to see Brian Winters again because he stinks. God, he stunk. He has stunk for years as Brian Winters stinks. It is amazing. I used to wonder, why do they keep bringing this guy back? Well, he could sit on the bench. He could stay on the freaking bench as far as I'm concerned because he freaking stinks. But the offensive line has played better. Darnold is getting time to sit in the pocket and deliver the ball downfield. And he's also making better decisions, throwing the ball away on third down when there's nothing there, getting flushed out of the pocket. When he's in the red zone, don't force it. Throw it away. Live to kick a field goal. He's getting better at it, guys. He's getting better at it. So the Jets, hey, what is it, 30-something points? They've scored at least 30 points, 34 points in the last 3 games. Now you're starting to hear rumblings. And that's the negative thing. That's the only, if we could have won this game, that first game against Buffalo. Oh, if we would have beat Miami the first time when we went to Miami before the streak. We should have won 4 games in a row, not 3 games in a row. And we wouldn't be 4-7. We'd be 5-6 and right in the playoff hunt. Don't think about the playoffs. Don't think about the playoffs. Just think about winning. That's it. Go out there and execute. You got something going here, ride it. Because I never thought the Jets were a playoff team. Going into the season, I actually thought the Jets would probably be an 8-8 team. The reason why? Their schedule was too tough. The beginning of the schedule was brutal when I looked at it. And there was people that were saying, oh, the Jets don't win. They can win 9 games or 10 games. I'm like, there's no way. They're going to be better. But the beginning of that schedule was too brutal. And the team is just too unpredictable. It's too much of a turnaround. But, I mean, the Jets, let's be honest, they've made it exciting. They make you want to run to the TV, sit in front of that big widescreen TV, and enjoy football. Yes, they're 4-7. They're still a losing team, but they have fight in them. They have fight in them. And now they have a young quarterback who has the potential to maybe be a star in this league. And that's something that's worth watching. You can invest in the Jets now. You can invest because you know they'll compete. And that's what it's about, competing. Even if you do lose the game, it's about competing. Let's take a look at the Jets schedule. If we could bring it up real quick. Now there's 5 games left. Now the Jets are 4-7. Now next week they're at Cincinnati. And then they play Miami here at MetLife. If you're the Jets, you have to win those 2 games. You have to beat Cincinnati next week. Cincinnati has no wins. They're a goose egg. So if you go into Cincinnati and lose, that kind of it takes away from what you've done these past 2 weeks. So, if I'm the Jets, you got to give me that. I need that. I need that win against Cincinnati. And Miami here, you got to win that game. That's a revenge game. That's a revenge game right there. Division rivals, I can't stand the Dolphins. Any real Jet fan can't stand the Dolphins. It's bad blood. Hatfield and the McCoys. That's a revenge game. Miami has nothing. They have nothing to offer. They're playing for Tua or maybe now Burrows or whoever in the draft. That's what they're playing for. They're not playing for anything. So let's say the Jets win these next 2 games. So that brings them at 6-7. Now they're at Baltimore. there's the bump in the road. Because you don't expect them to beat the Ravens. The Ravens have just been that good. They're one of the elite teams in the league. Not just the AFC, but in the league. And they're the only team to hang an L on the mighty Patriots. So let's say they lose at Baltimore. Okay. Then they have Pittsburgh at home. You're going to sit there and tell me that the Jets can't beat Pittsburgh? The Steelers are what? They're 6-5, I believe. So I think they're leading the wild card in the AFC. You're going to sit there and tell me they can't beat the Steelers? It's possible. Of course they can. Anything is possible. Mason Rudolph got benched yesterday behind all this, fiasco with the Myles Garret incident. He didn't play well. So they had to use their backup quarterback, QB. So I guess maybe the hit in the head might have affected them more than we thought. I don't know. All jokes aside. And then the last game is Buffalo, at Buffalo. That's going to be a tough game. But am I completely sold on Josh Allen? I mean, you got people the last few weeks talking about, it's no doubt Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Darnold. Jets should have took Josh Allen. Or at least that's what they're saying up in Buffalo, the Buffalo fans. Are you kidding me? I'm not saying I'm not saying Darnold is better than Josh Allen. What I'm saying is, you can't tell right now. How do you know? Now, Buffalo, they have an opportunity because on Thanksgiving this week, they go into Dallas. The Jets beat the Cowboys. So if Josh Allen is so much better than Sam Darnold, let's see if he can beat the Cowboys on a game that the Cowboys desperately need. And I don't want to hear anything about, it's a short week and, they're going into Dallas for Thanksgiving. I want to hear that crap, okay? Because they're just like the Cowboys. They can't beat a good team. Hey, who the hell have the Buffalo Bills beat? I mean, they actually beat nobody. So, this thing about Josh Allen being so much better than Sam Darnold, I mean, come on, let's relax. Let it play out. Let it play out. But yeah, I mean, if the Jets go 4-5, that'll put them at 8-8. And that's exactly what I predicted. I predicted 8-8. I don't have it written out in blood or anything like that to prove it. But come on, would I lie to you guys? Yeah, very funny. But seriously, the Jets, I had them at 8-8. Because that schedule in the beginning was just too tough. It was too brutal. Just too brutal. Anyway, great job by the Jets. Sam Darnold showed some heart, showed leadership, and he showed he had guts. Showed he had guts, man. After that whole I see ghost things and he was like the clown of the NFL. Well, you know what? This is how you respond. You throw 7 to 8 touchdowns the next 3 weeks. That's how you respond. And you lead your team to victory. And believe me, those guys in that locker room and wearing that green, they see it. They see it. And they respect it. So kudos to the Jets. We now move on to the tragic, because we got to have balance to the force, right? There's the light and then there's the darkness. I think I need a beat for this one, Marv. I need something. Just something hard. I don't know. You can't just, oh my God. Oh, boy. Boy. So on the other side, we have your New York Giants. Your New York Giants, who are now, what, 2-8, 2-7, 2-8, who cares? They stink. They freaking stink. The Giants are so bad that yesterday they went into Soldier Field to play the Bears, who are not good by any chance. The Bears did absolutely nothing yesterday to make you think that they're a good team or a playoff team. Khalil Mack has not had a good year since he's gotten paid. Has not had a good year. Mitch Trubisky, he's brutal. My God, does he stink. The fans even booed him. The fans turned on him. They were dropping passes left and right. They must have went to the same practice that the Raiders had, because they were dropping passes left and right, along with the Giants as well, because they both stink. But this is the Giants. The Giants said, you know what? Nah, that's okay. That's okay. Even though you want to give us this game, give it to us on a platter, that's okay. That's okay. You take it. You take it. Because we're more incompetent than you are. In fact, we're one of the most incompetent teams and franchises in the freaking NFL. It is amazing to me. It is amazing how good players, how losing, and how a certain atmosphere and an environment can be toxic and can turn good players into bad players. The Giants kicker, Rosas was a Pro Bowl kicker. A Pro Bowl kicker. He can't kick it 10 yards. I mean, we're talking Charlie Brown here with Lucy in the football. I mean, is it not a game all week that he does not miss a field goal? A couple of field goals? An extra point? He kicks it out of bounds for a kickoff? But it's not all his fault, though, is it? No, because we got the long snapper, Diassi, right? Who rolls the ball, rolls the snap to the placeholder. He rolled it. How the hell do you roll the football to the placeholder for the kicker to kick the football? I don't think I've ever even seen that. I've seen the ball skip. I've seen high snaps. But he rolled it. He rolled it like 8 or 7 yards. Like he was trying to bowl a perfect game or something. Oh my God, this team is so incompetent. And then we got Saquon Barkley, who was Mr. Everything last year. He can't even catch a 6-yard pass out of the backfield. He's wide open. If he catches the ball, he can moonwalk into the end zone. You can't make this up. They're just bad. And let's not talk about that high-priced left tackle, Nate Solder. Oh, God, does he stink. Oh, does he stink bad. Oh, my God. I mean, Khalil Mack has done nothing all year. He's got, what, 4 or 5 sacks? He didn't even try to block him. He didn't even try to block him. He's like a turnstile. A human freaking turnstile over there at left tackle. Oh, my God, this team is so incompetent. I cannot remember the Giants being this bad. I mean, it's unwatchable. It's unwatchable. And it's a good thing the Jets were on and doing their thing, because that kind of calmed me, because I was waiting for the Giants to lose. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. Just like I used to wait for it with the Jets. I was waiting for it with the Giants. I was waiting for it. You're up 7-3. You sack Trubisky. You sack the Bears quarterback. You make it 3rd and long, 3rd and 10. And then what happens on the next play? You get called for holding, for pass interference, when you didn't even have to touch the guy. Did you hear the announcer? Janoris Jenkins didn't even have to touch the receiver. That's a play he didn't even have to make. Now you give him a fresh set of downs. Very next play, touchdown. Now you're down 10-7, and they never recovered. That's what happens when you're going bad, folks. And it all starts from the GM down to the head coach. Or maybe even further, the owner, John Mara. It all starts. And I got the nerve to hear rumors that Jason Garrett could be the next Giants coach. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? It must be a joke. It has to be a joke. It must be early April Fool's joke. It has to be. April Fool's come early. It came early this year. So after Jerry Jones, which everyone expects Jerry Jones to DX Jason Garrett, because you know the Cowboys are overrated and they ain't winning the damn thing. They might win the division, but they're going to win it by default because the division is so damn bad. Yeah, nice performance yesterday against the Patriots. Wait, you're going to bring Jason Garrett in here? You better not bring Jason Garrett in here. I'm telling you, John Mara, you better not bring Jason Garrett in here. You didn't listen before. Or I guess your GM didn't listen a few weeks ago when I was in this chair. And I said, do not trade for Leonard Williams for the Jets. I specifically said, do not bring Leonard Williams to the Giants. Before I could even get to the freaking Holland Tunnel on the New Jersey Transit bus. Breaking news, the Giants just traded a trade with the Jets. The Giants trade their third-round draft pick, and a fifth-round draft pick for Leonard Williams. And what has Leonard Williams done since he's been with the Giants? Since he's donned that big blue uniform? What do you think? Absolutely nothing. No sacks. No fumbles, forced fumbles, recoveries, nothing. And you gave away a third-round pick, a third and a fifth. You have to re-sign this guy. If you don't re-sign him, how do you justify just giving away a third and a fifth-round pick? I mean, what do you think you're doing? I mean, this is a GM, people, a GM of a sports franchise. Paid big money. And you can't be serious. Oh, my God. The Giants, the Giants are just... One bright spot. Danny Dimes. Daniel Jones. 2 DDs. That last TD he threw to Golden Tate. Great play while he was getting hit. Great catch by Tate, who dropped the pass earlier. But the Giants, oh my God. Just, God. You got a 4th and 7. And you got wide receivers running 3-yard routes. Excuse me. It was a 3rd and 4, I believe. Oh my God. And you got wide receivers running 2-yard routes. Who drew up that play? Oh boy. I tell you what, he's got to go. Pat Shurmur has got to go. I mean, the Giants cannot justify keeping this guy around. How can you justify it? And if they were smart, they would go find Mike McCarthy and hand him the keys. Hand him the keys to the condo. Give it to him. Could that be an issue with Gettleman being the GM? I don't know. I don't care. Shurmur has got to go. But like I said, you better not bring Jason Garrett in here. I swear. No, Giants. You can't make this up. You really can't. You really can't. You really can't make this up. Oh, and by the way, it gets worse because next week, Green Bay is coming in, who got trashed by the 49ers last night on Sunday Night Football. So they need that game, and they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. Aaron Rodgers and the boys, believe me, they're going to have a chip on their shoulders. And the Giants, who have no pass rush whatsoever. Rodgers got sacked 5 times last night. Didn't have any time to throw the ball. Don't worry. It'll be a stroll in Central Park next week. He'll have all the time in the world. Do his little dance, check down dance with the belt. Do all that. Oh, he's going to be doing all that tomorrow. Next week. He's going to be doing all that next week. Because the Giants have no pass rush whatsoever. Moving on. So let's go around the league real quick. Couple of key games yesterday. We talked about the Cowboys. Look, this is like a broken record with me. I told you the Cowboys never beat anybody that's worth beating. They never beat anybody with a winning record. And it is just amazing how the media and guys like Skip Bayless, I know he's diehard, Cowboy fan, but I mean, you're living an illusion. You really are. You really are. And it's not even that Dak Prescott has played that bad, because he's actually a better quarterback this year. You can actually see it. You can see it. But with the talent that the Cowboys have on that team, I mean, but they're the Cowboys. And I told you, as long as Jerry Jones is the GM and is the face of that franchise, and Jason Garrett is the head coach, the Cowboys are not winning the Super Bowl. They're not even going to sniff a Super Bowl. They're not even going to get to the NFC Championship game, people. I'm telling you. And once again, New England, what can you say? I'm starting to really believe it, that Bill Belichick might be just the greatest coach of all time. I really am starting to believe it. Jimmy Johnson, the Dallas Cowboys coach back in the 90s when they were a winning franchise, when they were actually winning Super Bowls. Out of the 3 phases of the game, you need to win at least 2. Offense, defense, special teams. Either 2 of those 3, if you can dominate 2 out of those 3, you got a damn good chance of winning. And that's what the Patriots are doing this year. Special teams and defense. It came out of the Golden Boy's mouth, Tom Brady. He said it. He said, it's our defense, it's our special teams. They're helping the offense because the offense is struggling. Tom is over 40 years old. They lost Antonio Brown. Zonk retired. Gronk retired, I'm sorry. But Bill Belichick, you have to give him credit. He may be a jerk, and he is a freaking jerk. He is. And I love him from his Giants days as defensive coordinator, but you got to give it to him. They just find ways to win. The Cowboys had more total yards than the Pats did yesterday. And the Pats still found a way to win the game by more than a field goal. Now, how is that possible? Special teams, turnovers. The Bills beat the Broncos, like I said, 2 peas in a pod. The Bills, the Cowboys, they beat up on bad teams. So this Thursday, Thanksgiving, huge game. I think it's a bigger game for the Cowboys, being that they're one game ahead of the Eagles. Speaking of the Eagles, boy, I tell you what. I said last week the Eagles still have a chance to win this division. I'm not too sure about that now. That was a bad performance against the Seahawks. And I know the Seahawks are good. You got to deal with Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll in that defense. But, I mean, you cannot play like that at home. And I understand he has, like, no offensive. His wide receivers are pretty much in a mash unit. I mean, he doesn't have any wide receivers. He has nobody to throw to. Carson Wentz. Nobody to throw to. Jeffries, he's out. Jackson, he's out. The only person that he has is the tight end, Ertz, who had close to 100 yards yesterday. But, of course, that wasn't enough. And so the Eagles, they fall 5-6. They're actually under 500. But they're still a game behind the Cowboys. Like I said, they have the easier schedule, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. The way the Bears played yesterday against the Giants, I'm not sure if the Cowboys will still beat the Bears. I think the Cowboys can beat the Bears. And the way the Rams played, I think the Cowboys can beat the Rams. Even though they're better teams. They're tougher teams, but I don't know. The Cowboys just might squeak this division out. So we have last night's game, as I mentioned, the 49ers just throttled the Packers 37-8. Rodgers gets sacked 5 times. He was completely abused. And I tell you what a job John Lynch has done with that organization in San Francisco. Building that team, having a system and a vision, and saying, we're going to build this team around defense. That's what we're going to do. And they are one of the best defensive teams in the league. You're right there with New England. You can't run on them. You can't pass on them. I mean, they are just nasty, that defense. And Garoppolo just does enough. Is he the same quarterback that he was before the injury? I don't know. But when you have a defense that's getting turnovers and giving you a short field to work with, it makes your job a lot easier to run an offense. I'll tell you that. So, the 49ers, they win again. Let's check out their record here. 49ers are what, 9-1? 49ers are 10-1. So along with New England, they're both 10-1. The Packers are 8-3. But they're going to be in a dogfight with Minnesota for that NFC North. Moving along. How about this? Check out this game. What about the Panthers and the Saints? The Saints jump out to this huge lead, 2-touchdown lead. And give the Panthers credit. They battled back. Kyle Allen finally had a good game. And good for him, because he was atrocious the last 3 weeks. I mean, he was just atrocious, man. He could have hit the side of a boat. That's how bad he was. But he comes back with those 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He drives the team down with about a minute or so, about 2 minutes left in the game. He drives them down into the red zone. He sets it up for the field goal kicker, and he misses it. I tell you what, is it just me? Or it's just been an atrocious year for kickers. I mean, kickers are missing kicks left and right. I've never seen this in the NFL. I mean, what is going on? My God. But once he missed that kick, you knew Drew Brees was going to drive the Saints down the field and they were going to win. You just knew it. It was like the game was over. You don't even need to watch. With Michael Thomas, Kamara, and all those weapons they have, Cooks, you knew that was it. It was game set. All their kicker had to do was put it through. So they win. They win 34-31 over the Panthers. The other game we had was the Redskins, who, hey, look, the Lions without Matt Stafford, they're actually seeing how important Matt Stafford really is. Because they are completely they are just bad without him. But the Redskins win the game. Too bad Dwayne Haskins couldn't stick around for the final snap, since he had to go take a selfie with a fan for his first professional win. So I guess that's how he wanted to celebrate his first professional win. Instead of snapping the ball and being out there on the field, he's up in the stands taking a selfie. Oh man, I tell you, you can't make this stuff up. But good for him. Good for the Redskins. They're 2-9. So now the Giants are officially in last place. They're tied for last place with the Redskins, although they did beat the Redskins, so officially they're half a game in front, but who really cares, right? So the Browns, they've won 3 in a row, and they beat up on the Dolphins, put up 41-24. You got Hunt there now, along with Chubb. You're finally starting to see Landry and Beckham together score touchdowns in the same game. That offense can be very devastating. Very devastating. And they've done a good job. And maybe they've used the whole Myles Garret, helmet thing as a rallying cry. Maybe they have. Who knows? But this is the Browns that a lot of us thought we would see coming into the season. So kudos to Cleveland, and maybe Freddie Kitchens will keep his head coaching job. Earlier in the week, we got a minute left. It was the Texans over the Colts. Big win. They take control of the AFC South. So the Bucks over the Falcons. Falcons play New Orleans this Thanksgiving night. And that'll be a revenge game for the Saints, who lost to them a few weeks ago in New Orleans. So, as we wrap things up, I would like to wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching. Peace out.